An end to the war in Palestine. That's what hundreds of marchers made up of civil society groups, human rights organisations, political parties and ordinary citizens have demanded at a peaceful march to Parliament in Cape Town this morning. Protesters also called for the South African government to implement the Apartheid Bill and sanction Israel for various human rights violations in Palestine. Our reporter Latashia Naidoo is on the scene at Parliament. She's joined by Gift of the Givers founder, Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman. Latashia, good to speak to you this afternoon. Just give us some context into some of the hopes of these individuals almost a year to the day when that first bombing occurred.
Good afternoon, Hugo. The march to Parliament from District 6 this morning was in a show of solidarity for the people of Palestine who have, like you mentioned, been enduring ongoing attacks since the 7th of October last year. So it is actually almost a year to the date since the continuous attacks began. And thousands of people braved the sweltering heat in Cape Town to come out in their numbers to support civil rights groups, human rights organizations, and normal citizens to show their support for the people of Palestine, in particular Gaza. They're also calling for the South African government to start implementing sanctions against Israel for humanitarian violations. And one of those people who has been instrumental to calling for sanctions, to calling for an end to the occupation of Gaza is Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman from the Gift of the Givers, who joins us now to tell us more. Dr. Sooliman, thanks for speaking to us.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on the program.
So this was a very important march. It's almost a year to the day that the airstrikes and missile strikes and attacks on Gaza have been happening. What was the importance of this march in Cape Town to Parliament today?
Well, it's not only about Cape Town. It's also about marches all over the country and all over the world. The Palestinians have said that please raise our voice. We have only one request. We have nobody standing with us. Please raise our voice. People were afraid that when the war started, the spirit will die down, that the campaign will collapse and the Palestinians will be left alone. Cape Town in particular has proven that we will never give up. I'm from Pietermaritzburg, but I was here to be part of the march in Cape Town because the public has come out very strongly. Yes, there are other marches in Durban, in Pretoria, and Johannesburg, and Pietermaritzburg. But this was a message to Palestinians outside the country and inside the country that South Africa, because this community represents South Africa. It includes our government, political parties, all the different race groups, the Jewish people, the Christian people, Hindus, Muslims, people from all religions, all races. And it's a united South Africa. It's a stand for humanity against inhumanity. And South Africans have proven over and over again that we would stand out against injustice. So this march was very important to say. 1 year later, we haven't forgotten. Actually, we're coming back stronger.
Speaking of 1 year later, behind me we can see a poster of the head of Gift of the Givers in Gaza, Ahmed Abbasi, who actually died in one of those airstrikes in November last year in Gaza. And the 16th of November will be a year since his death. But the Gift of the Givers has continued operations in Gaza, helping the people of Palestine. And you mentioned to me earlier that there's still a staff of about 20 Gift of the Givers members who continue with humanitarian efforts on the daily.
Yeah, when the war broke out, was when the Palestinians came across into Israel on the 7th of October, I got of course I don't speak Arabic, but I got my teams to speak Arabic to inform my staff to prepare for all-out war, and that Netanyahu was going to go crazy because we broke his ego. I told him to start buying supplies from the different warehouses, get ready to support hospitals, civilians, hospitals, schools, clinics, because he's going to bomb all those things. We know how he operates. And the staff, and the first week, within 2 days, I told them, please expand the team, because most likely you guys are going to die. They laughed. They said, this is Gaza. We know we're going to die. It's nothing new. And they have that kind of resilience and that kind of spirit. That's why we take such a personal interest in those people. On day 14 of October, which is 7 days into the war, they called back and said, a genocide has started. Weeks earlier, before the world started talking about that, they already said a genocide is starting. Ahmed Abbasi was killed on the morning of 16 November. He's a pharmacist. He's the head of my office. He was coming from morning prayer. He was with his brother. Both of them died when a rocket struck the mosque. Over a period of time, my team members have lost 175 family members, of which one team member has lost 115. She lost 50 members in one building. I had her in Cape Town on the 6th of December to talk to journalists. 2 days later, a sniper killed her father. and the next day they bombed the whole building where our family was and killed all of them.
Thank you, Dr. Sooliman, for that insight. Well, Hugo, there you've heard it. Behind me, this poster of Ahmed Abbasi from Gift of the Givers, who was killed last year in Gaza. He's one of 41,000 civilians who have actually died since the start of October last year in ongoing violence in Palestine. And Dr. Sooliman pointed out, today was so important because it's not just the voices of people in Cape Town, it's the voices of South Africans who are showing solidarity for what the people of Palestine are going through. Back to you, Hugo.
Let you go. Do you get a sense that some of these voices are falling on deaf ears, that those that have the power to make the change aren't really interested in making the change?
Look, I think that there's the sense that I got from the people who are marching today is a sense of hope. They have faith in the South African government to do what they believe is the right thing in terms of imposing sanctions, in terms of ratifying the accord, to impose sanctions on Israel and to hold Israel accountable, apartheid Israel accountable for the atrocities that have been going on in Palestine. And the people here are hopeful. Their voices have been loud, they have been cleared. They're calling for a free Palestine. And I guess it's the leaders of the world who now need to step up and listen and start actually acknowledging the voices of the people when it comes to the genocide that's been going on across our shores.
Latashia Naidoo coming to us from Parliament following that march as those voices continue. Protesters calling out for the South African government to implement the Apartheid Bill, amongst other things.